welcome to day 18. I think it's worth spending a minute today just trying to give you a little bit of peace of mind, I think, because we're starting to get into some quite complex parts. And with the slower videos as well, they're not unachievable. They may be tricky in one day and it'll something that you will build up. So don't give up on them. But also do be aware that the parts that we're playing at the minute, yesterday and today and the next couple of days, the phrases that we're playing here, melody-wise, are the same basic phrases that we played back on day 9 through to day 12. And so if you're finding these newer bits today, yesterday, tomorrow and so on, if you're finding them a little bit nerve-wracking and worrying about keeping up, give yourself a little bit of a break and maybe revisit the day 9 through to 12 and play on some of those so that you're still playing the same part along with everybody else, but you're not having these extra stresses of these extra grace notes that are coming in at the moment and the slightly different left hand. That said, please do keep watching, please do keep doing as much as you can of this because it's good to stretch yourself, and I hope you're feeling that you're in a very supportive environment. So let's crack on. This is day 18. We are on bar 76, and this is that crossover bar we've got very familiar with now. It's the last bar we learnt yesterday, but it's really the start of today's phrase. So I'll play it through for you what we're going to do today, and then we'll have a little talk of it. Notice how the left hand has some very quick moves to do. 1 and 2 and do the optimum fingering in the top hand there, but I will teach you the optimum fingering now. So we're starting, let's do our right hand. We're starting on the A, going to the C. We're very comfortable with that now. The 3 in a row, moving up. The swap finger on that top E. Just one of these because we've got to do it yet again for the grace note. So we've gone 3, 2, 1, swap to a 2 on its own, and then we're going on for this grace note. And notice how you barely heard it. To be fair, that D was a little bit loud then, but so the beginning of bar 78 starts with a 2 on its own, then we get 3 in a row on from that E. The E is a very throwaway note, and we cross over like that, okay? So I'm going to play the right hand from, I'll do it from bar 76 again, and I'll do it in time this time, not talking it through. 1 and 2 and and just as with yesterday's grace notes, we need to make sure that that grace note doesn't add any time to the bar, that it steals it away from the previous notes so that the D, that D is in the right place where that quaver beat should be. Okay, so it's a very throwaway note and we keep it all moving. Let's put the left hand with that and then I'll talk you through the left hand on its own. So bar 76, hands together for a moment. 1 and 2 and so let's have a look at this left hand. So we started just like we ended yesterday, the A at the base, the E, the thumb on the C. We talked about whether to place the C or not depending on your hand size and the comfort and whether you were bashing into any other strings with your 4th finger. So we covered that yesterday quite comfortably. So 1 and 2 and 2 and that's all fine. The 6th part there, all notes that we've done before, and that's fine. Going into bar 78, we then have an E octave going down, so we're going to go thumb first, and the thumb is only a quaver long, and what we're putting that with in the top hand is, this is the bar that's got the grace note in, so we have a finger 2 on the E in the right hand, thumb on the E here, they play together, then we're getting our 1, 2, 3, and we're going to play the grace note, and the lowest E of our left hand comes with that finger 2 in the top hand. If I just play that at speed for a moment, 1 and 2 and okay, and it's worth getting comfortable with that. Dum, da, da, dum. Okay, I think we've got quite comfortable with having a bit more time in our left hand here, but here we've got to move it. And then no sooner have we done that in the left hand, we need to be jumping all the way up to this E just above middle C. Personally, whilst there is some sense to reaching for that with your thumb, because we're then going to go low again, it can be a bit hard to get a good sound on that, particularly when we're feeling a bit rushed. So I'm just going to it with a finger 2. And then we move down to the A shape. Remember back at the beginning, our A octave, A one of those, A octave with the 5th note up in the middle. And you'll notice on the sheet music here that the squiggly line that's telling us to do it as a rolled chord has an arrowhead at the bottom pointing downwards. So instead of it being an upward one that we would normally do if we saw that line, it's downwards. So we start with our thumb. And again, that's as quick as we can do it, really. And as with all rolls, the final note of the roll is the one that needs to land on the beat. Okay, so it's quite hard to play this through for you talking it through and give it a real accuracy for you. So let's do it actually with the beat, and let's do it with the top hand, because that's going to be how we feel putting it all together. So the best thing for me to do is to go all the way back to bar 76 and put all this together for you. If you follow it along, 1 and 2 and so the tricky part there is the E octave in the left hand, jumping up for this E, which, as you'll see, you've got a semiquaver tied to a crotchet, so it comes halfway through a quaver beat. So we've got to fit that in the right place, and then jumping down for the A shape and doing the roll downwards in time so that the lowest A lands on the beat. And that's the tricky thing to practice. I'm going to do it slightly slower here now, and then I would direct you probably to look at the slower paced practice video to have more practice at putting that together. Okay, so a bit slower now. 1 and 2 and finally for today, I'm going to play through from yesterday so we can put the 2 phrases together. So this is starting at the top of page 3, bar 72. Back up to the sort of speed that we're ultimately aiming for if we feel so inclined. Speed is all relative, so long as you're playing happily and you feel that you've got a flow to it and you're playing consistently, that's the right speed for you. So I'm going to do this here now. 1 and 2 and I almost tripped up at the end there because I put 4 fingers on going down, and that left me in an odd place because I had a finger on a string that I wasn't meant to be playing. And it's so hard when we do that, and I'm sure those of you that are having lessons with harp teachers, they will be telling you to avoid putting any extra fingers on you don't need, because that's extra brain work to tell it to come off without playing. So there we go. We all make our mistakes. I'll see you tomorrow.